this is Manta here, and today we're going to be taking on the Relm EX event. I had an attempt of it earlier, but it didn't go too well. I'll go into that as we jump into the fight now. So what happens is I started off and I brought the exact same team, so Edgar, Selphie, and Squall, but with a Squall friend. The only issue was we actually were got killed and got through these early waves too fast, such that we didn't have Ifrit charged on time. Which obviously doesn't exactly help. So as we were fighting the boss, it was switching element before we could get that fire attack off, and obviously weakening it. So once it switches, it then becomes weak to lightning, and you need to use a lightning attack to remove its defenses. Which was just putting too much of a hindrance on the fight, and we were basically putting too much of a dependence on our abilities. So instead, this time I'm going to bring a Terra. The reason for that is I believe that Terra can deal decent single target damage, just the same as Squall, but also Terra doesn't require as much DPS, and she can also put on defense down and speed down debuffs. So we have the boss. If we have the boss slow enough, we don't need to actually worry too much about the summon gauge filling up, and we can clear these waves as fast as we need to. So for these ones, I believe Squall was not able to... if I want to use Solid Barrel the first time, he wasn't getting enough bravery up, as you can see there, to actually hurt the boss to a significant degree. This is where I used Edgar's auto crossbow to give him the max brave buff. My Squall here again is going to use another Renzokuken. Only problem is last time Squall didn't get quite so many turns with this boss, so this might end up being good for us, considering now the position that we're in now is a bit awkward, because if we HP attack there with Edgar, everyone will get dropped back behind the boss's turn and we will probably lose. So what we have to do now is use our drain attack. Edgar will do a bit of draining with his drill attack, or Selphie will do a regular bravery attack for the moment. Despite the fact that we're getting a little bit slower now, it doesn't matter too much, considering that our main concern last time was that we were clearing these early waves a bit too fast. And Squall will get that attack off there, and now Edgar should... oh, another Squall. So maybe we'll use Solid Barrel again. Who knows, he might generate enough bravery to actually get an HP attack off, which he does not. Edgar here is going to use his auto crossbow once more, and these slow turns aren't going to matter too much to us. They won't affect our fight too much because we'll have more generation on the Ifrit summon. So Squall now can finish these off, hopefully with a Renzokuken, and then Edgar will finish off the other one. And one thing I wanted to mention as well on the last one was that one particularly good thing about this about Edgar actually is I managed to luckily pull his X, and if you haven't used him or his X yet and you managed to pull him, I highly recommend giving him a shot. He does extremely well. We're going to swap Squall out immediately for Terra now, because she can, one, do a bit of bravery generation for herself here, and then a bit of speed down on the boss in a second. Edgar here is going to use his chainsaw. So as I was saying, the X ability, one of the main things it does is it gives Edgar a buff ability called Machinist, and this Machinist ability is very useful because it makes all targets suffer greater damage based on the number of debuffs they have on them, which is of course going to be extremely useful in future fights when we start needing to take down bosses with high damage, high defense should I say. So now Terra should be able to reach her max here with this and hopefully plant speed down on the boss. Okay, that should slow it down and enable us to get in some more turns and hopefully be able to summon Ifrit in time. So what we're doing now is we'll just keep planting on these debuffs, slow the enemy down a bit, and Terra is going to use her right blade attack to get more max bravery and also probably to break the boss and get our summon prepared. Excellent, so now we can actually use our summon and knock down the boss's immunity and deal some good damage here now. So, Edgar, you gotta use your drill there. Oh, we're waiting for the boss to tell us that it's weak now. So as you can see, Edgar is dishing out some actual serious damage now. The When the boss is weak, Edgar actually has a lot of damage on his side. We will use our meltdown here now. The more speed and defense down we have on this boss, the better. Edgar is going to use another drill. Terra is going to use her meteor chant. Hopefully get another turn in before the boss has a chance. Excellent, perfect. Selphie will use her drain ability. So the boss is already down to about half health now, so we shouldn't have too much of an issue finishing it off. What we're aiming for, as I said, is before turn 45. And now we can bring in Squall and have him use his assault trigger. Excellent. And now the rest of our fight hopefully won't require too much of a reliance on bravery shaving, because the boss is about to get his element shift. Oh, he usually hasn't. Perfect. This actually makes things a lot easier for us. Grant, in that case, we will use another drill command. And Squall will use a solid barrel now while he can, because he will be able to actually proc his HP attack, whereas in a moment he probably won't be able to with his Renzokugen. Okay, that damage isn't too bad, and the boss still for some reason hasn't changed its immunity, so we'll just keep dishing on damage while we can. Squall again will probably be able to reach the HP threshold with this solid barrel. Selphie, I want her to use her drain ability for the moment, because I don't want her to spend too much on Squall. We'll have to use our Renzokugen here now, I think. And we can use our drill now with Edgar. And then hopefully we should be able to do something decent with our Squall next turn, or maybe even our Selphie slightly afterwards. Okay. So we're on turn 40, so we have plenty of time. We have another 4 or 5 turns before we hit the road. I'm considering using her drain attack here. She'll generate a bit of bravery for herself, deal some damage, and give Squall a bit of bravery shaving potential. And he has a assault trigger, and we have a launch afterwards as well. So this hopefully will be enough to kill the boss. Not quite, but maybe this at the end of this launch. Perfect. So, a few things to bring to the fight is obviously going to be the Squall Selphie duo. They are quite strong at the moment. It's clearly the best team at the moment when they're taking on these events, which I thought they even shouldn't be able to. It's 151,000 there. Edgar is doing quite well. I actually quite like his X. Unfortunately, I didn't actually, as you can see there, I didn't manage to pull his 35 CP, so the fight would have gone even easier with that. But if you manage to pull Edgar's X, I'd actually recommend doing possibly some investing into it, because his Machinist buff is just incredibly useful, especially if you have him on a team that has a lot of debuffers on. So I know some people are still using Lilithset, so you could combine Edgar and Lilithset to do some extreme damage. Selphie, of course, is at the moment going to be the best support in the game. If you're having trouble with this, there are a few things I can recommend to you. Either the main problem for a lot of people, I think, would be either not having Selphie or not having Squall. You could probably replace Edgar there with a Terra, and they would have done just as well, if not better, maybe. I have seen people clear easily with Squall, Selphie, into Terra. If you don't have that, my only recommendation to you is to either do a bit of artifact grinding, which I know everyone hates, so that's the one you should probably avoid most. And then the other option is to wait a little bit of time, because we're almost certainly going to be getting the a lot of people are sure start speculating that we're definitely going to get the Kate Sith interlude chapter before the end of the month while this event is still on, so you can then use Kate Sith with his incredible buffs to defeat this boss. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope it was useful for you. Please let me know if it was, or if it wasn't. Let me know what I can improve, and otherwise, take it easy, guys.